Imagine waking up to a message from the US government, a $2,000 check is on the way, for every American. Sounds incredible, right? But what if the math behind this promise isn't just flawed, but nearly impossible? Tonight, we break open the numbers, the politics, and the hidden consequences behind Trump's headline-grabbing tariff rebate plan. America is at a crossroads. Tariffs are rising, prices are rising, but incomes aren't keeping up. Millions of households feel squeezed, stressed, and desperate for relief. And into this pressure cooker comes a headline that sounds almost too good to be true: a $2,000 rebate for nearly every American, funded entirely by tariff revenue. But is that financially possible, or is it political illusion? Former President Donald Trump pitched it as simple math: money in, money out. Tariffs bring in billions, so why not return a chunk of that back to the American people? On paper, it feels straightforward. A dividend. A reward. A financial booster for middle and lower-income families. And in a country where 2 out of 3 Americans say they feel financially stressed, who wouldn't want $2,000 back in their pocket? But when experts began doing the math, something extraordinary happened. The numbers started buckling under their own weight. America has roughly 350 million people. Even if you exclude high-income households, you're still left with more than 300 million eligible recipients. Multiply that by $2,000 each, and suddenly you're staring at a bill approaching $500 billion, every single year. Here's the part many Americans never hear. Last year, the U.S. Treasury collected about $195 billion from tariffs, and even optimistic projections show that number only rising to around $216 billion in 2026. Even on the highest end of all expert estimates, tariffs don't even come close to covering half the cost of this rebate program. There's a financial black hole right in the middle of the plan. And here's where everything unravels: tariffs were never designed to be a revenue machine. Economists explain that tariffs are regulatory tools, meant to pressure foreign nations or protect domestic industries. Any money they generate is actually incidental. And over time, tariff revenue tends to go down, not up, because people and businesses simply find ways to avoid the higher prices. Even the most generous interpretation of Trump's math doesn't work. Economists across the political spectrum have tried to stretch, tweak, and adjust the assumptions. Some reach $600 billion in annual costs. Others shave that down to $300 billion. But not a single serious analysis, not one, finds a scenario where tariff money can cover rebate checks and reduce national debt, which Trump has also promised. And here's an unexpected twist: experts warn that sending $2,000 checks to tens of millions of people right now could actually make inflation worse. With prices already elevated and the Federal Reserve struggling to cool the economy, injecting hundreds of billions into consumer spending creates exactly the kind of pressure that drives prices higher. In simple terms, the very problem these checks are meant to solve could get worse. There's a growing disconnect in America. The economy looks strong on paper: record-breaking markets, low unemployment, but when you zoom in, ordinary Americans aren't feeling that success. While the top 1% sees soaring stock portfolios, the bottom half of the country is stuck fighting rising costs with stagnant wages. So Trump's idea taps into a real anxiety. But even if well-intentioned, economists warn that it's more political messaging than viable policy. Experts note that Trump has floated this idea multiple times over the years, often right after bad polling numbers or election setbacks. Some analysts believe the rebate proposal is less of a policy blueprint and more of a political signal, a promise crafted to connect emotionally with frustrated voters heading into election season. And there's a catch: even if a president wants to send checks, only Congress can authorize that spending. So what are we left with? A bold promise built on fragile math, a nation tired of financial strain, and an economic picture that looks healthy from afar but feels unstable up close. Whether the rebate plan is political theater or a genuine attempt at relief, one thing is certain: America deserves transparent, realistic economic solutions, not ones that fall apart under basic arithmetic. Do you think a $2,000 tariff rebate is a smart financial relief strategy, or a political illusion? What's your take? Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our deep dive breakdowns on the policies shaping America's future.